Hi, I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. And I'm here with Chris, who is the proud owner of this zombie response vehicle. First off, thanks for coming on and talking to us. And we talked a little bit earlier about this, and just give me the basics on the zombie response vehicle. What? I guess first, what made you think to make this thing? Like, what was the inspiration?
So I love Mad Max, and that's why I started building the car, because I had just bought a brand new 2012 Malibu, and it was like every other black Malibu that was out there. So when I did that, first thing I designed some spikes on the wheels, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with the Mad Max and Apocalypse vehicle versus a zombie vehicle. I hadn't even watched The Walking Dead yet. My son, Sean, who was at the time was like 11, he was like, "Dad, have you seen Walking Dead?" "No, I like Mad Max. I'm not even into zombies."
When was this?
About 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So I was like, okay, I'll look into the whole zombie thing. I designed the car as something fun. About 3 years ago, a author by the name of Shane Moore contacted me and said, "Hey, you seem like that you have a zombie vehicle. I would love to have you in my next novel." I was like, okay. So he started writing the novel. About a little while later, he's like, "I need some photos of the car." Okay, for a promo shoot. Okay. And when the book got released, he sent me what it was going to look like. And it's actually my car on the book cover. And in the book itself, myself and the car are actually characters in the book. And we're probably mentioned, I would say, 2 or 3 dozen times. I mean, we're just strictly a character in the book, and it's an ongoing.
You're still alive then?
Actually, I just talked to Shane last week, and he goes, "You do know that you're still alive in the book?" I went, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "Just wanted to make sure you knew that because I'm working on the next book."
I wonder what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes down to novels, I'm already on tour, and he's on tour with his books because he has 30 different titles. You can actually find Shane Moore on Amazon. And it's not just the book series of Apocalypse of Enoch, Rapture, Scourge, and Desolation, but there's a whole slew of other novels that he's done. He's got almost 30 titles, and a lot of them are all sci-fi. Shane's awesome, and I'm not even a reader.
Yeah.
I have to admit that I'm not even a reader. But when I read this book, I was like, "This is pretty cool."
So, well, what's it like reading about yourself?
It's really weird.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in real life, I work in EMS, and in the book, I'm actually I'm in the medical field in the book. In the first book, Peter Mayhew, who plays Chewbacca in Star Wars, he's actually in the first book. He actually, because that's where the book starts, is actually at a convention called Contamination in St. Louis, where there's an outbreak, and Peter Mayhew is at there. So everybody plays themselves in the book. Shane Moore, everyone plays their own selves. Stephen Tibbs, who's a rapper. We all play each other as our own, or whatever our background is. So it's kind of cool. It's different.
So in the books, a zombie outbreak starts at a convention called Contagion.
Actually, Contamination in St.
Contamination,
Louis.
yeah. So that's kind of like in the Spider-Man movies, a guy named Otto Octavius gets 8 arms,
Yeah, I know. And it's weird because Contamination is actually a real convention.
Oh, it is? I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's Contamination's been in St. Louis for years, and it's unbelievable because he put that in the storyline. It just happened that way, and it was Contamination. It's like, oh, now we have a zombie outbreak. How'd that possible? But it all works out because it's a real convention.
Awesome. Now I want to talk about this car. I was able to look over it a little bit. You've got gas cans on the back. You've got a crossbow tethered to the top. You've got a zombie mannequin, I guess, attached to the front. I kind of wish, we'll have to post some pictures on our Facebook of the whole thing. But yeah, what do you keep adding things to it, or are we pretty much at a stopping point?
Okay, since it's in the book and it's actually in the book cover, I'm trying to keep everything as limited as possible to what it is on the book cover.
Okay.
But you still have to have fun with it. So now the zombie on the front of the vehicle, his name is Zach, and he travels with us. He is a zombie that has turned, and people like to take pictures of him. So it's more of a novelty. But when you look at the car, This vehicle is a 2012 Malibu. I bought it brand new and only had 7 miles on it. It sits behind us right now with 187,000 miles on
3
it.
years.
5 years, actually.
5 years. Okay.
5 years. It's been 3 years as it is as a zombie vehicle. But the weird part is that it's something fun to drive, and I drive it every day to work. I work full-time for a casino, and I drive this every single day to work. The zombie comes off, but the plow that's on the front of the vehicle stays on my car. The roof rack, all the weapons stay on my car every single day.
You get a lot of like day-to-day comments from people?
Comments, photos. There's not a place that I don't go that I can come out and someone's taking pictures of the car. I was driving down the highway not too long ago. I got off of an exit, and some guy yells out the window, "Can I take pictures of your car?" Right there at the light at an exit of the highway. And he took a picture from his driver's side. He says, "Thanks," and then left. I mean, generally no one ever asks.
Yeah.
But
I was going to ask, like, is that a thing? Like, you don't care because you know what you're driving.
Correct.
And it's not like a huge deal if somebody just walks by and snaps a picture in the parking lot.
I don't have an issue with it. And what we do here is we do those photo ops, but we actually have weapons and stuff that are actually signed by actors that might have used those types of weapons. We have a rocket launcher it's a photo for props, for photos that you can have. We charge $5 for props, for photo ops with our props. Now, what I mean by exclusive photo ops is that we actually have weapons for a zombie apocalypse. We have a rocket launcher, M72, signed by Judge Reinhold, similar to the one that he used in Beverly Hills Cop at the end of the movie. Okay. We have a crossbow. It's called a PSE Fang. It is a current model crossbow that Norman Reedus, or Daryl, uses in Walking Dead.
I saw that. Very nice piece.
And it's signed by Daryl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have a Brazo walking stick or a bow staff that I'm going to have Lenny James, which is Morgan, to sign it. So what we're trying to do to have weapons that the actors are using in these different shows as photo ops with people, but not including of all the signings that are on top of my motor from Herschel, from T-Dog. It's just the whole thing. I mean, I have signings on top of my motor from Walking Dead, Mad Max, from Z Nation. Actually, yesterday morning I had Jason Mewes signed my car, which he did a zombie, awesome. Zombie Hamlet. So all the different actors from different zombie movies.
That was like one of the first things that I actually asked you was these guys are signing your like engine cover in like silver Sharpie. Yeah. And my first thought was, crap, after a road trip that has to fade off. But according to you, silver Sharpie will not rub off of a running motor. It doesn't fade. Like, you've had this stuff on here, what, 2-3 years? Some of them
are a couple years old. And the thing is, several of the actors have signed it freely. So it's like, okay, when am I out? But every time we do have a signing, we usually try to spray it with clear coat. But even at that, high heat temperatures, generally you would think would fade it. The only one I did have fade was Michael Rooker the first time he signed it, but it was my own problem because the marker didn't work. Yeah. So, we try to make sure that I think I can probably look at my pocket right now and, you know what? Every show, brand new silver Sharpie.
I will say, because nothing will make you sicker than having an autograph opportunity and no marker.
No, because last year here, last few months ago, when Scott Wilson walked up to my booth and surprised me, it was just Herschel. He came out of the blue. I was like, "Hey, what's this all about?" And I told him about the car. I said, "Mr. Wilson, I would love to have you sign it." He's like, "Gladly." And of course, I pulled because that is never going to happen to me again with Michael Rooker ever again.
Yeah. Awesome. This car. Okay, what all do you have on it? I know you have the crossbow up top.
Yeah. Okay. This spare tire, of course, on the top.
Okay.
I got a safety strap on top, which if you it's a tow cable, but if you take it and wrap it around the lugs of the wheel, you can actually probably rip a door off of a building. So there's a off the wall use. On top of the vehicle, we have backs, which is my battle axe. It's a Louisville Slugger with 3 blades on it, one 10-inch with 2 7-inch. On top of that is a shovel that's been sharpened to cut off a head if you needed to for zombie apocalypse weapons. The roof rack actually has an amber light for emergency. It also has a fishing pole for fishing.
I see that.
Yeah. What's missing out of the back rack here, we have fuel, but I'm also missing my Coleman stove that, if I catch that fish, I'll be able to cook it on the back of my rack.
Is there actually fuel in there right now?
As of right now, because we're inside of a building, it does not. But
Okay.
when we travel to out of state for long travels, we actually put fuel, at least one gasoline can has fuel in it for backup.
Okay. That is awesome. And that was one thing I was saying. You drive this thing everywhere.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, like, we were first setting up earlier, and we were looking as you were pulling it in, and I told Amber, I said, they probably loaded that off a trailer or something. And she's like, I don't know. And we were kind of checking it out, and then we came up and asked you, and no, you drove this thing here. And there's no trailer, nothing. This thing is a real working vehicle that you drive every day, and it gets a lot of eyes on it. So.
And it's really weird because this is a 2012 Malibu. Bought it brand new. I had 7 miles on it. I just bought my oldest son, who's 18, a 2005 Grand Caravan, which, hey, it's a Dodge Caravan. But the interior of his 2005 Dodge Caravan is in better shape than the inside of my car. And it has less miles.
Yeah. How many shows do you do a year?
This year we're six cities with Wizard World. Matter of fact, if you Google Wizard World Scout, those 3 words, our page that Wizard World created will actually come up with our show schedule with Wizard World. So we have 6 cities with Wizard World, and we have 3 cities with Walker Stalker, amongst other shows that we also do.
Okay, so you stay pretty busy through the year.
Including working full time for a casino and being at that, yeah. So yes.
Oh man, you have more energy than I. So all right, well I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure, and if you we're going to go ahead and post this on Saturday night. You still have Sunday to drop by Nashville and see the what's the official name for it?
It actually it's ZOD. It's Zombification Orientation Defense, but it is a zombie response vehicle or ZOD's emergency response vehicle is what it is.
And you could go to
ZODSTL.com or ZOD001.com, either one. But ZOD001 is on Twitter, it's on Instagram, you can find it on the internet, and of course Facebook. But and then the car actually has its own separate page. So ZODSTL will take you on Facebook straight to the car's page. And the car itself has 1,000 likes by itself.
Awesome. All right. Well, this has been Chris with the ZOD car, and I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network. Come see us at Wizard World this weekend. Still got 1 day to go, and we would absolutely love to see you.
See you here.
I'm going to try to get us turned off.